Hi guys, welcome back to the part 2 of this tutorial. I uploaded the first part, which was the short part of this video, how to make the short. Now we're making this overlapping back, that's the upper part with the notch collar. So let's get right into it. So I have my Ankara folded into two. Now the width here, whatever you're taking as the width, has to be your bust measurement with minimum 5 inches. So at this folded part of the front part, I'm going to mark out 3 inches for my notched collar. Okay, you can do 2 inches, you can do 2.5, but I wanted mine to be big, to be pronounced. That's what I mean. So to get that effect you saw, I marked 3 inches at the center point. Now all our markings for the front is going to be starting from this line inwards. Okay, so at this top part, I'm going to be marking my bust measurement divided, my shoulder measurement divided by 2. Okay, so I'm marking that from that line, and then I'm going ahead to mark my 3 inches shoulder width. And then from this other part, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'm going to go ahead and connect this in a slanted manner. Just basically go ahead and create your basic bodies. Now from this part, I'm going to go ahead and mark my shoulder to bust measurement, shoulder to waist measurement, and then shoulder to the full length of this top, which I made it to be 28 inches plus hemming allowance. So you can go ahead and work with whatever length is suitable with you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw out my bust line, my waistline, and then the hem of this top. Remember, all our markings are going to be starting from this 3-inch mark inward. Okay, you're not touching anything at the 3-inch place part for now. Okay, now after doing that, we're going to go ahead and create our armhole. Okay, so to get your armhole depth, go ahead and divide your round bust by 6 and add 1.5 to whatever figure you have. So I've gone ahead to mark that, and that line is going to give you your chest line. Now at that chest line part, from this 3-inch mark as well, go ahead and mark the same thing you marked on your shoulder divided by 2. So I'm going to connect that line into a straight line back to the shoulder area. Can you see what I have? Then I'll go ahead and extend my chest line outwards like you see me do. Now I'm gone ahead to create this, but we're not completely done. Now this is my bust, my chest line, my bust line, my waist, and then the full length of my top. Now still starting from this 3-inch mark, okay, I'm going to be marking my round bust measurements divided by 4, and I'm adding 2-inch sewing allowance to this. 1 inch is for ease, 1 inch is for sewing allowance. Now to get our shoulders curve, okay, our armhole curve, I'm going to get the midpoint of this line, and at that midpoint line, I'm going to come inward by 0.5 inch, the way you see me do, connect it straight to the shoulder, and then curve out your armhole. Now you can decide to use your pattern master to achieve this, okay, but I love to do freehand sometimes. Okay, so you can also use your pattern master. Now extend what the measurement you have at your chest line to your bust point. Now to get my waist, okay, still from that line, I'm going to mark my waist round divided by 4, and then I'm going to be adding 2 inches sewing allowance as well. Now this is a shirt. This shirt is not a fitted shirt, so I can still decide to use half of an inch for sewing allowance, 1.5 for ease. Okay, so at this hem part, I'm going to be marking my hip round divided by 4, and then I'm adding 2 inches as well to this, and then I'll go ahead and connect this all the way to my waist line, just the way you see me do. Now you can decide to take this straight, okay, from your waist, from your bust straight down to the hip, okay, but I wanted mine to have a little bit of shape at the waist area. Now let's work on the neck area. From this half an inch we came down by, the neck depth for the front I'm working with is 3 inches. Now I'm going to connect this 3-inch neck depth to this 3 inches neck width, just the way you see me do. Now remember, this is a shirt. it mustn't be too deep. Okay, now after creating that, we're going to determine the flap, the notch collar, where how long we want it to be before we create our button overlap. Now from that ½ inch, I'm going to be marking down 9 inches. Okay, you can do 7 inches, you can do 8 inches, you can do 9 inches. Okay, now this is how long, the length I want for that my notch collar, the flap effect in front. Okay, so now to create our button overlap, remember there's going to be button in front. I'm going to be marking 1.5 inch and I'm connecting it straight to that line. Now ½ inch will be to sew this, because we're going to be using a facing to turn this. ½ inch will be to sew the facing to it, to turn with the facing, and 1 inch will be for my button overlap in front for both sides. So that's why I'm marking 1.5. You can do 1 inch as well. Okay, now connect this straight to this line. Just curve it the way you see me do. Curve it to the length of the notch collar and curve it back to the 3 inches neck depth we came down by. Okay, and then we'll go ahead to cut this out. Now you can decide any design you want in front. If you don't want yours to be too big, you can take out ½ inch. Okay, but if you want the exact effect you saw in the video at the beginning of this tutorial, go ahead and curve it this way. Give it that little curve at the length and you'll get the same effect. So now I'm going ahead to cut out. Just go ahead and cut out and you're done. Now if you don't want yours to give you a little bit of snug effect on the waist area, just take it straight. Whatever measurement you have at the bust, take it straight to your hip point if your hip is not bigger than your bust. Okay, I hope that's clear. Now make sure you notch this 3 inch mark. This mark is very important. Notch that point, because when we'll be attaching our collar, that notch will be our guide. Okay, make sure you notch that 3 inch area on your neck part. Then go ahead and cut out every other part just the way you see me do. Now guys, if you've not subscribed to this channel, I'd like for you to subscribe and also like and turn on post notification, so that when we upload tutorials, you'll be notified when we do. And also I'd like to use this opportunity to say thank you to our new subscribers. Thank you to those that watch and also like and comment. Now these things help this channel to grow and for my video to be recommended to more people to watch it. Okay, so I'd really appreciate if you do those things. Thank you so much, and I hope you're getting value on this channel. If there's a video tutorial you want us to work on, okay, please kindly let me know in the comment section. So let's go ahead and cut out the back piece. But before we do, make sure you fold it the way you see me do. Fold in the 3 inch mark inwards. Since there won't be a notch collar or a button overlap at the back, we need to fold this in because we're using this front part as a guide to cut out the back part. I want to make this as simple and as easy as possible. So whatever your flap or button overlap is, just fold it inwards just the way you see me do. Now I'm bringing in this new fabric for us to cut out our back piece. I just want to show us an easy way to achieve this. You're going to bring in your front piece and then you're going to lay them at the folded part. Make sure it's laying flat on the folded part just the way you see me do. Okay, make sure everything is well aligned and is sitting flat. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and trace and cut out. But before you do, for the back neck, you're going to be marking the back neck depth. For me, I used 1 inch. Okay, so go ahead and mark the back depth. I used 1 inch at the back, and then go ahead and connect to the same. We're using the same neck width. We're using the same thing at the shoulder. Then you're going to be cutting out the armhole and the sides. I'll show us the alterations that you're supposed to make. So can you see what we have? I stopped right at the bust point. Okay, please take note, I stopped right at the bust point. Now if you look at the picture in the thumbnail, okay, the back part is divided into two. There's a top part and there's the overlapping part at the lower part. Now from that 1/2 inch on the shoulder, you're going to mark where you want that top part to be. I don't want it to be right at my bust point, so I came down from my bust point by 3 inches. Okay, I came down from my bust point by 3 inches, and that's where the first part of the back, the upper part of the back, is going to stop. Now if you want to use your bust point as the first part of the upper part, you can use that, but I came down by 3 inches from my bust point. Can you see? And I cut that out, so I'm going to cut it into a straight line. Okay, but from the picture in the thumbnail, her back piece came down a little bit more than her bust area. Okay, so I'd advise you do either 2 inches, come down from your bust point maybe by 2 inches, and then cut out. Now this will help the front and back to align perfectly. Now let's cut the lower design. Now after cutting out the upper part at the back, in order to achieve the lower design, from this folded part, I've brought it another fabric is folded. From the folded part, I'm going ahead to mark 6 inches. Now you can do 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches maximum, depending on how wide you want the overlap to be. Okay, how overlappy or reversed you want it to be. Okay, sorry guys, I marked 7 inches. Okay, now after marking that 7-inch line, I'm going to bring in my front piece again. Now watch what we're going to do here. Now remember, the button overlap is still folded inwards. Now make sure the center part is placed right on that 7-inch mark that you created, and remember this line. Okay, this line that we cut out the front, make sure it comes down by 1/2 inch, so that when you stitch the upper part to it, it will not get shortened. Okay, now we're going ahead to trace out the sides. Now this will help the sides of both front and back to align. Okay, now remember, we're cutting from that 13 inches, okay, or 14, whatever you came down by, and make sure the lower part is also well aligned, and your center front is resting right on that 7-inch line. Can you see what we have? So after this, we are done with this other part. Now when you bring in the top part to place it, you see that everything matches perfectly. There won't be any form of shortage. Okay, that's the reason we used the front as a guide. Now after doing that, to get that overlapping effect at the lower part, to help it come out well, from this 7-inch mark, you can mark inwards 3 inches or 2.5 inches, but I marked 3 inches. I'm going to connect this back to this tip where you see my finger. Okay, you can connect it back to that part. Go ahead and connect it just the way you see me do. It's as simple as that. Now if you've watched this tutorial to this point, please kindly give this video a thumbs up. Okay, now can you see what we have? Connect to this part, and then you're done. You go ahead and cut this out. It's as simple as that. Now you discard this other part. Make sure you notch this top part so that you know that this is the upper part that you're going to be joining to the upper part of the back. This is our sides, and this is the center part that's going to be overlapping. Also notch it so you don't get confused. So let me bring this in and show us what we have. When you open up the top part, can you see what we have for the top part? And then you open up this, your overlapping effect. Can you see what we have? Make sure the sides are aligning perfectly. Now when you overlap this, you see that we've successfully created that design in a very easy way. And remember, we're going to be using the 1/2 inch we left to attach this to the upper part. Now let's go ahead and cut out the facing for the front. Now for the front facing, you're going to bring in another fabric, and what you're going to do is you're going to be tracing what you have at the center point. Whatever you have from the notch color point, just trace the same thing. trace the neckline, trace the shoulder part, and trace what you have at this notch collar. But ensure this fabric is on fold. Whether it's on fold or not, you should be able to give you 7 inches. Okay, this fabric should be able to give you 7 inches on fold. On fold you should have 7 inches, and just trace the center part, the button overlap, the neck depth, and the shoulder part. Okay, just the way you see me do. We're going to be using this to create the facing, so that when your overlap, your notch collar falls, okay, it's still the same fabric that will be showing at the inner part. That's the reason we're using the same fabric. Unless you want to create another kind of design, you can use a contrasting color. Okay, so after that, can you see what I have? I've taken out the front piece. Now, in order to create the facing, we don't want it to be too big and it shouldn't be too short. Now, at the shoulder part, I'm going to be marking out 3 inches, just the way you see me do. And from the lower part, okay, from the bottom part, I'm going to be marking out 3 inches as well. And then I'll connect the 3 inches at the neck to the 3 inches at the lower part. Sorry, my camera didn't really capture the lower part well, but that's exactly what I did. So go ahead and connect these to the lower part. Sorry guys. So can you see what we have here? 3 inches here, 3 inches from the lower part. So you're going to go ahead and cut this out. So we successfully cut out our facing. Now for the back piece, the back neck, okay, you're going to also cut out the facing. The shoulder width should be the same 3 inches with the front shoulder width, so it matches up perfectly. So can you see what we have? I'll go ahead and iron stay to this for it to have more structure. I'll do same with the back neckline facing. Now this is what we have. Can you see I've gone ahead to iron my net stay to this, okay? And this is the back facing. Can you see that the shoulders align perfectly? Very important. I've gone ahead to add stay to this. So you're going to be placing these right sides facing each other, and you're going to be joining them with 1/2 of an inch on the shoulder part. Repeat the same thing for this other part of the facing. Now for my main fabric, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. Remember this notch. Now please make sure you also make this notch on your facing. Okay, now when you open up the front piece, this is what you're going to have on both sides. And then for the back piece, you're going to go ahead and attach the lower part before you join the shoulders as well by 1/2 of an inch. Now this part that we notched, okay, it's either you fold it or you use your hemming gum. If you don't want any stitching line to show, you can use hemming gum. Now after holding those parts neatly in place, you're going to place the overlapping the way you see me do. Now you can either place it to the left or to the right, okay, but I did exactly what's on the inspiration picture. Okay, you can make it face either the left hand side or the right hand side. Okay, can you see what we have here? Or you can lift it this way and make this other one face this other way. Okay, but make sure you turn those edges neatly. Okay, now after doing that, you're going to put them together and sew them in place. Then you're going to place the right sides with the top part and join them to make it one piece. Can you see what we have here? I've gone ahead, guys, to join the shoulders. Can you see how relaxed and neat it is? I joined with 1/2 of an inch. Can you see the facing? I joined them with 1/2 of an inch at the shoulder area. Now for the main fabric, I've gone ahead to join with 1/2 of an inch at the shoulder area as well. And this is what we have. Now let me show us the back. I went ahead to stitch mine. Okay, I stitched mine down. I haven't ironed this out yet, but I'm going to give it a good press. Can you see what we have? Okay, I've joined them together. Okay, and I folded that inner part. It's either you fold it or use your hemming gum to iron it down. Okay, so when I iron this, it will look more neat. So can you see that overlapping effect in front? So this is what we have right here. So what we're going to do next is to open up the neck, open it wide. We're going to measure the neck round from this notch point. Remember, the notch point I asked you to take note of earlier. You're going to be measuring from one notched point to the other notch point so that we can cut out our collar. Okay, now be very careful while measuring this so that your collar doesn't get shorter or longer than. You need to take this accurately. You can decide to take this measurement twice, okay, just to be sure. Okay, so I'm going ahead to measure to the other notched area, and what I had was 17 inches. Okay, can you see what I have? I had 17 inches. So I've gone ahead to fold a fabric and I've attached stay, okay, to this fabric. I've attached my hair stay to it so that the collar can have some structure. So this is what I have. This fabric is on fold. Now when you open this up, I have 7.5 inches. Can you see what I have? The length is 7.5 and it's on fold this way. Can you see? I've attached my stay to it. Now I'll fold it. This part is on fold. I'll fold it into 2 again, making it 4 folds. But this part is on fold. Take note of that. And our measurement will be starting from that folded part. Okay, I hope that's clear. We'll be taking our measurements from here. Now remember what we measured around the neck, 17 inches divided by 2. That will give us 8.5. Okay, I hope I'm correct. So that will give us 8.5. Now you're going to place it. Can you see what we have there? I'm going to place it from this part and mark it towards this other way, the way you see me do. I've gone ahead to mark what I have. Now after marking that, we're going to be marking 1/2 of an inch. We're going to be adding 1/2 of an inch to that for joining, because we're going to be joining the both sides. Okay, to avoid shortage, I'm going ahead to add. So I've gone ahead to mark 1/2 of an inch, and then I'm going ahead to connect this. Can you see what we have? So if you measure this, you have your normal measurement and then 1/2 of an inch added to it. So these other parts that we do not need, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out so you do not get confused. Okay, so this is what we're going to be working with for our collar. Can you see? It's on a fold of 4. This other part is a folded part. Now at this open part, you can decide to go up by 1.5 inch or 1 inch. But I marked 1.5. I actually went up by 1 inch. So I'm going to connect that 1 inch mark in a slanted manner back to the midpoint here in front. Just curve it the way you see me do. We don't want our collar to be straight. We want it to have that slant curved effect. Okay, now from this top part, okay, you go inwards by 1/2 of an inch. Now since we had already marked 1/2 of an inch, that's a guide. So can you see I'm connecting back to that 1/2 inch from this corner? Can you see I'm connecting it in a curved manner back to that 1 inch I went up by? Okay, we'll cut this out for now so you can understand. Okay, cut out that 1/2 inch mark back to the 1 inch you came down by, and then from that 1 inch you cut it in a slanted manner to the center part. Can you see what we have there? So we've already started creating the design for our collar. Can you see what we have? Now you're going to determine the length of your collar. Okay, now for the length of my collar, I used 3.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going ahead to mark 3.5 inches from this part, and then I'll connect it as well in a slanted manner to that 1/2 inch, and I'll cut it out. Now after cutting this open, you're going to be having 2 pieces of this. One will be for the main fabric, one will be to use to turn your collar. Okay, that was why we put it on fold. This center part is still folded, this part is open. Okay, please, if there's anything that's not clear to you, just let me know in the comment section. So this is what we have. Can you see? For our both collars. So go ahead and notch this top part. Okay, go ahead and give it a notch. So when you open this up, this is what you're going to have. Can you see what we have? Sorry, the lower part. The lower part is the part I notched. Okay, so when you open this up, this curved part is your top part. I hope this is clear. Then you're going to be placing your collars right sides facing each other, like the way you see me do. You're going to be stitching with the allowance you left on this part, follow the top part and back to this other part and flip it out. Now, and after doing all of that, this is what I have. Okay, can you see the both sides are well folded? Make sure you notch this midpoint. Okay, very important. Ensure you lay them well and make a notch at the midpoint, and our cute collar is ready. Now you're going to bring in your main piece, okay, and you're also going to get the midpoint of the back neck depth. So meaning you're going to be putting the both shoulders together. Make sure the both shoulders align perfectly, and then you're going to get the midpoint of your back neck depth, okay, because we need that midpoint to align with the midpoint of your collar. So go ahead and align it. Take your time to align it and notch the midpoint. Very, very important. Now you're going to go ahead and open this up. Lay everything out the way you see me do. Now you're going to be placing your collar at the midpoint. Okay, can you see what we have? Let the midpoints match. Place the midpoint of your collar at the midpoint of your neck depth, your back neck depth. Now you can use your pins to hold this in place. You can pin it to the other edge and back to the other edge as well. Okay, I'm going ahead to pin this down. So this is how you're going to stitch this. You stitch from the midpoint round to that curved place, that place we made a notch, and you stitch this other part as well. Now after stitching this in place, this is what we have. Can you see it matches up neatly and is so neat and well relaxed? Make sure your fabric is not folded, your collar is not pricking. So this is what we have, okay, and then you're going to bring in your facing. Can you see my facing? You're going to place these right sides facing each other. Before you do, the same thing you did to the main fabric, you're going to repeat it on the facing. Make sure the shoulders are matching perfectly, and then you go ahead and notch the midpoint of your back neck depth, just the way you see me do, and then you're going to place it the same way. Ensure the midpoint of your facing is at the midpoint of the main fabric. Now the collar is laying flat on the main fabric, just the way you see me do, meaning your collar is going to be sandwiched between your main fabric and your facing. Now make sure the shoulders as well are matching with the main fabric. Go ahead and stitch it from the center to this point all the way to your notch collar, and stitch all the way. Just follow the seam all the way to the hem of your top, okay, just the way I'm demonstrating. And also from this midpoint as well, round the neck, okay, the way I'm demonstrating, round as well. Stitch it with 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 of an inch all the way to this other hem, and then I'll show us what next to do. Now after doing all of that, can you see what we have? I've stitched round to this part and to the other part as well. We're going to go ahead now and make notches. Okay, go ahead and make tiny notches round the neckline, round the notch collar, and also round the button overlap. Okay, ensure you're not cutting through, okay, into your stitch. Just give it a little notch so that when you turn it over and iron it, it will lay flat with ease. So go ahead and notch round the way you see me do, and when you flip it over, it will lay flat and it will be easy for you. I'll go ahead and give a little cut at this point. Can you see what I have? And then when you flip it over, this is what you're going to have. You're going to ensure that you give this a very good press. I'll do the same thing at this other side. Can you see what we have here, guys? And then you're going to go ahead and give this a very good press so everything relaxes and lays properly. Okay, you can use your hemming gum as well while ironing, so it can help it to relax. Now can you see this collar area looking all neat? Now after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and shapen the sides. You can use 1/2 inch to shape or 1 inch to shape the sides. Okay, so go ahead and align the sides as well and join the both sides and give this a very good press. So this is what we have, guys. After giving this a press, can you see how neatly our collar is looking? And I've gone ahead as well to shapen the sides, and then our button overlap is sitting pretty. So the next thing we're going to work on is our sleeve. So let's go ahead and cut our simple sleeve. So the sleeve we have here is a very simple sleeve. Okay, it's not a fitted sleeve, it's a free sleeve. I have this fabric folded into 4, 2 for the front, 2 for the left sleeve, sorry, 2 for the right sleeve. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be marking down 4.5 inches. Okay, so go ahead and mark down that 4.5 inches. I'm going ahead to mark it in several points, and then sorry guys for the noise. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect this. Now at this 4.5 inch line, you're going to be marking your round armhole measurement divided by 2 on that line. Now after marking that, you can go ahead and add 1 inch or 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Remember, it's a free sleeve, you don't want it to be fitted. Now go ahead and connect it in an S-like shape all the way to the top of the sleeve, just the way you see me do. Now you're going to also determine the opening, okay, the width of your sleeve, your round sleeve, and whatever yours is, add your sewing allowance to it and connect it just the way you see me do. Now if you need a detailed tutorial on how to cut a sleeve, just let me know. Now go ahead and take this measurement round to confirm if you actually have your sleeve divided by 2, your round armhole divided by 2, and I do. And the length of this sleeve is 10.5 inches. The actual length will be 9 inches. Okay, 1 inch should be for folding, then the 1/2 inch I'm already trimming it out at this point. So the length of this sleeve, the actual length, is 9 inches. You can decide to make yours up to 13 inches depending on the length you want, but it's not a long sleeve, neither is it a 3/4 sleeve, it's a short sleeve. Now go ahead and cut it out the way you see me do, and make sure to notch the midpoint, and now our both sleeves are ready. Please, if you've watched this tutorial up to this point and you've not yet liked, you've not yet subscribed, please do, because it encourages me to take out time to put out these videos for us to learn. Okay, so please encourage me by liking and subscribing. Thank you. So the first thing you do is to fold the lower part into 2, okay, and stitch that down. When you're done, attach them to the sleeve and hem the lower part. So this is what we have. Don't you just love this shirt? I love it, and I'm rocking it out tomorrow. Can you see this notch collar, the way it sits? See that curved effect close to the button area? And I've gone ahead to fix in my buttons. So let me show you guys what I did. The spacing, the first one is right here, and then after that I did a spacing of 3 inches, okay, and I fixed in 4 buttons. And we are done with our shirt. Can you see? Very simple and cute. Now look at the back. I've gone ahead to give this a good press. Can you see how cute this is looking at the back? Please, if this tutorial has been helpful, please kindly like and subscribe and say something in the comment section. I'll be grateful. Can you see how pretty this back is looking? Okay, please try this out and tell me in the comment section how yours comes out. Now the first tutorial I uploaded was on the shorts. Can you see how cute this short is? Okay, very demure. And I've gone ahead to search all the parts of this. So our two-piece set is ready. Now thank you so much guys for stopping by. Till I see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.